Hello, my name is Geraldine Valencia. In today's TED lesson, we will be discussing one of the most occurring property crimes in America. We will be speaking about the elements that define burglary as a crime. I will also as well share with you guys section codes and laws created by the justice system to apprehend and correct offenders that commit this specific crime. Burglary is the entry into a building or property illegally with the intent to commit a crime such as theft or hurting another individual. It is a felony offense that falls under second or third degree crimes. It carries severe penalties that are typically average for an incarceration period of 7 to 15 years. Burglary appeared as its own offense by 1450s. By the 15th century, two elements were required to demonstrate to convict offenders of burglary. First, there had to be proof of someone entering a building at the time the crime took place, even if something was not being stolen. The second element composed with the time of the crime, for it to be considered a burglary crime, would have to been taken place at night. This lasted until 1606 when a case broke this code. In 1837, a definition of night was made so arbitrary that it could be proved in any case, but it was not officially appealed until the Theft Act of 1668, where the nocturnal element was finally abolished from burglary. The requirement of someone being in the building at the time of the burglary had been abolished earlier with the several statuses beginning in 1547. Burglary The current law on burglary is to be found in Section 9 and 10 of the Fact Act of 1968, where it directly states the following. Burglary 1. A person is guilty of burglary if he or she enters any building or part of a building as a trespasser and with the intent to commit any such offenses as in mentioned of subsection 2 below. B. Having entered any building or part of a building as a trespasser, he or she steals to attempt to steal anything in the building or that part of it and inflicts or attempts to inflict of any person therein any grievous bodily harm. 2. The offenses referred to in subsection 1A above are offenses of stealing anything in the building or part of a building in question, or inflicting of any person therein any grievous bodily harm therein, and of doing unlawful damages to the building or anything therein. Part 3. A person guilty of burglary shall be convicted of indictment to be liable to imprisonment for a term of not exceeding A. Where the offense was committed in respect of a building or a part of a building, which is a dwelling, 14 years. B. In any other cases, it would be 10 years. Lastly, for Section 9, Part 4 references in subsections 1 and 2 above to a building and refers to subsections 3 above to a building which is dwelling shall apply to an inhabited vehicle or vessel and shall apply to any such vehicles or vessels at time when the person having a habitation is in not there as well as the time when he is. Section 10 lays out a new offense of aggravated battery, where a person commits burglary whilst carrying a firearm, imitation firearm, or certain weapons of an offense defined in the section. This offense carries a maximum penalty of life imprisonment. Aggravated battery is found under Section Code 10 of the Theft Act 1968. There is an indictable only if offense, which carries a maximum sentence of life imprisonment. Section 10(1) Theft Act of 1968. A person is guilty of aggravated battery if he commits any burglary at the time has him of any firearms or imitation firearms, any weapons of offense, or any explosives, and for this purpose. Part A. Firearm includes an air gun or a pistol, and an imitation firearm means anything that has to do with the appearance of a firearm, whether capable of doing discharge or not. And Part B, weapon of offense, means any article made or adapted for the use of causing injury to or incapacitated a person, or intended by a person having it with him or such in use. Part C. Explosives means any article manufactured for the purpose of producing a particle effect by explosion, or intended by a person having it with him for the purpose. This offense requires proof of elements of burglary under Section 91A or Section 91B, both the actus reus and the mens rea, and the time of burglary of the defendant that was in the possession of the objects listed above. The current law Burglary only keeps on increasing and worsening through the centuries. The nation works its best in providing safe environments for our communities, but it also depends on the citizens that live within the society to help construct a safe environment. Out of all of the property crimes that exist, burglary is found to be a crime that has developed more than just crime. It has arise different crimes such as aggravated burglary and other crimes that occur with the original intention. It is in the best interest of the nation and all the citizens to try to minimize the crime of burglary for the safety of all. Burglary only keeps on increasing and worsening through the centuries. The nation works its best in providing safe environments. This last slide shows the references used in the making of this TED lesson. Thank you guys all for listening.